this is going to be the least enthusiastic introduction I've ever done, but welcome to episode 1 of Manchester United's funeral. It's What the Devil, episode 65. We're here to talk again after, we filmed last week and I was thinking, it'd be such a good podcast, because it's the day after the final, happy about the finals, thinking, we got the Chelsea game and then the Spurs game, and then we're going to go crack on, glaze all the players for how well they played, and crack on straight with the summer signings, straight with, who do we bring in, what's next, how do we get up from here, but then yesterday actually happened. And the thing I have with yesterday is most of the day, I'd say, I was fine. I was excited, more than nervous or jittery or anything. I was excited for the game, because also all the players before the game and the manager, everything, the word they all kept using was excited. Like, they were always excited. Spurs players, they were all using the word focused. United players were all using the word excited, and I was like, I like that. Be excited, be up for it, be ready for just, for smashing them. Because in the Chelsea game before, they were smashing into the players, they were playing their heart out, whatever. And obviously we lost, but they were playing with pride and with passion, etc., for a dead rubber Premier League game against Chelsea. So I thought, if that's what we're doing for a dead rubber game, in the final, we're going to step it up a level. And they didn't. It's just more than anything, they just didn't step up. So Spurs, they played a 6 out of 10 game, right? They had a couple good moments in attack, but also a couple dodgy touches here and there. Defensively, they were pretty solid. There were moments where, Vicario was looking dodgy. There were moments where they lost a couple of things here and there. And the reason they won is because they put in a 6 out of 10, and then we put in a 3. Like 3 out of 10 performance. Because what was frustrating me, more than anything, was collectively, all of these players, all 11 on the pitch, we'll get to Amorim in a second, don't worry, I'm not saying he's blameless. But all 11 players on the pitch were slow to second balls. Their touches were nervy. So I can't remember the last time I watched us in the other opposition's half misplace so many passes.
Okay.
We were playing so many cross-field balls that, they weren't making the wing-backs. There was multiple times where we were trying to do flicks around the corners and the Spurs player was already there. They were closing up all the passing lanes, and we just went, and messed up a number of times. I might be wrong. This might have been something that's happened more season that I've not really noticed, but just in that final, it's what I noticed more than anything was that we kept misplacing passes. Touches were half a yard too much, half a yard too strong, and we just didn't win so many of the. We don't win second balls anyway, but we lost even more second balls yesterday. And I just want to finish my piece of what I say before going to you guys, is that with Amorim, after, in hindsight, you can look at the starting 11 and you can go, he shouldn't have played, he shouldn't have played, he shouldn't have played. But when the team came out, what I saw on the timeline was generally overwhelming, like, this is a good team, I like it. When the team came out, I was actually expecting Shaw to be at wing-back. I was expecting Shaw to be at wing-back, Mazzara to be at centre-back, and Dorgu at right wing-back, which I think may have been a better setup, because that would have been a bit more of a shake-up than it it was. But then all the players were in their traditional positions, is what it was. And I think Amorim, bar the Garnacho Mount thing, which again, in hindsight, I think you can easily say, he should have changed that. And I wanted Garnacho to start, but what he did too late was bring him on too late. Amorim's been so proactive with his subs. In the second leg of the semi-final, Shaw, Mount, and I can't remember who else came on. A third player came on. There's still half an hour to play in that game, and we then scored 4 goals against Athletic Club. And he's been so proactive in his subs so many times, and I've been saying this, and only for him to then completely let me down by sticking with the starting 11 for 70 minutes. It gave me, it's not the same level, but it's like what Solskjaer did in the 2021 final, where Solskjaer didn't bring on a single player until the 100th minute of that game against Athletic Club. Against Villarreal. And when he did do that 100th minute sub, he took off Mason Greenwood and put Fred on.
Mainoo got 2 minutes.
Yeah, Mainoo I think should have played more. Garnacho should have come on genuinely latest with 30 minutes left to play. And I think overall, it was a case of Spurs, assuming Spurs would have put in that performance no matter what, we really let ourselves down that game. The players were poor. I think, I know Dorgu got a lot of flack. I think, and he was partly at fault for the goal, I agree, but I don't think he was bad as others. I think, more than anything, I think it was Rasmus Højlund let us down. Andre Onana let us down by nervy early moments, just, I think, putting our whole defence on edge. And also, it's not really been said much, but I think Casemiro also let us down on the night. Bruno did as well. I think Bruno.
The leaders. The
leaders. But I'm really disappointed with Bruno's performance. I thought he pretty much ghosted the game. But it's Casemiro for me, where I was so confident in him, like really confident in him, just being like, at the end of the day, you are Casemiro. You are Casemiro. You eight European type finals, 8 European trophies won. Like, you lost like 3 finals out of the 23 you've played or whatever. And for me, he really let me down.
Do you know what, right? I feel like you're right in terms of like the guys that we depend on and lean on in games like this. It's guys like Bruno, it's guys like Casemiro, it's those experienced players that we lean on. You know, those are the guys that we take refuge in to pull us out of these bad moments and do something spectacular in a game, even though we didn't deserve it. And Casemiro did that in the semi-finals. It didn't quite work out for him in the final. But the thing is we're not always going to be having these type of clutch moments. Manchester United, we don't even have enough star quality to be having moments FCs like we did in the past. A lot of our stars has moved on. We're in a position now where Manchester United, right, can't win a Premier League game. And this game was confusing for Manchester United because we was up against Premier League opposition. With the physicality, the speed, the strength, everything. When I looked at that game, right, Ahmad, every time Ahmad got the ball, Basuma, physicality was there, clamping him, doubling up on him. Do you know what I mean? With your doggy. Sometimes there was even 3 guys surrounding Ahmad. There's nothing he could have done. And we couldn't even switch it to the other way because we had nothing there. There was nothing there. Nobody actually even trusts Dorgu enough like that, I feel. And Mount wasn't giving us anything on that left. I didn't even see Mount. He wasn't close enough to the striker to help him. He wasn't out wide doing his thing there. It feels like we're a man down. And then you have Rasmus Højlund that he probably held up the ball once and laid it off to a player. Maybe once I saw him do something in that game. He didn't do anything. So Manchester United are going into these games here, starting with 2 men down already. It's different, and the reason why I'm on Mount so much is like, yes, I know he had a good semi-final. I know he scored those 2 goals in the second leg where, quite frankly, I think we already won that tie anyway. But he did a good thing coming off the bench. But my thing is Mount gives me Van de Beek vibes in a sense where he can play a 90 minutes and I just don't see him. And it's like Rasmus Højlund as well. He can play 90 minutes. And other than me seeing him fall to the ground, I just don't see him. And that's my worry. It's different where you got, even Weghorst. We can see with Weghorst, right? Everyone knew that, you know, he was crying for a goal. He couldn't get a goal to save his life. When he did it finally meant the world to him. But at least we could all see that this guy works hard when he was playing in that number 10 position. He works his socks off. We can see it visibly. And my worry is that Manchester United and Amorim, right? We keep choosing players where we know that they're not doing enough on the ball or off the ball. And it leaves Manchester United in this predicament where it feels like we're struggling. Look, everything was coming off on the right-hand side because we didn't have a left.
Yeah, I think the thing with Mount that game...
And where was Garnacho? Because Garnacho would have given us the left.
Considering who we were playing and also considering who is in our team, it wasn't the right game for Mount. It's just because our team, right? They aren't good. There are in our squad, and this is what we'll get onto. I think there are some absolutely fantastic players in our squad. There are some players that I would put in title-winning squads, but there are so many players who aren't good enough, right? And when you're playing a team like Spurs, who are defensively fragile and have been all season, and you don't have just a load of high IQ players in your team who can connect really well. You have players who are, at the end of the day, I think simpler. Like, you need to play a simple game, and that's not the kind of game that Mount thrives in. That's the kind of game that, I'm not saying that Garnacho is a simple footballer, but I'm saying when you play a simple style of football, his raw abilities are at the forefront because he's just relentless. He attacks. And Spurs is the kind of defence and the kind of team that you need to just break down. Yeah. Brute force, break down their front door and you will score. So I think Mount, it's a tricky one. I think it wasn't the right game for him, and he is obviously going to now get a load of flack from that because he was really good in the first opening. I say in the opening 10 or so, 10, 15 minutes, he was good. He was fighting with the ball, trying to get the ball, and then he just got lost in the game. And that's one of the reasons I think also Garnacho, if he didn't start, should have come on earlier. But Yusuf, I'm going to come to you now just so you can say your piece on the game.
Yeah, I think, I don't think the players were good enough. I thought Yoro, Mazraoui and Ahmad, they played with character. They, showed initiative. In my opinion, they can leave their heads held high. I thought Dallo did well when he came off the bench. Again, I thought Garnacho should have started, and then I thought he should have come on much earlier. So what I actually wanted us to do, personally, I think Mount was worse in attack than Højlund was. I thought Højlund was very uninvolved. I think he had some sharp moments, like, when he nicked the ball off the goalkeeper and almost set Bruno up. And he was extremely unlucky to not score, I'll be honest. I saw people, I heard the comments say he should be scoring that. I saw people say, why is he not doing something like that?
The header, you mean?
Yeah, the header.
No, he did everything he could do.
Yeah, there's nothing else you could have done with the header.
Van der Ven has just produced one of the best goal line clearances I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
but especially for a guy, by the way, just a side thing, for a guy who gets his hamstrings done, to get his foot that high was nuts.
I was sitting there thinking, if this was the other way around,
that's the moment. You know what I said? I was alone in my living room watching the game. I went, we've lost.
Yeah,
as soon as that happened, I said we'd lost at half time. And I was right. I think I said this message to you. I said at half time, I don't see how we're scoring here. But that was me just being pessimistic. But yeah, no, as soon as that clearance, I was like, this is
that goes in.
I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I said in the group as well, I was like, I wanted to take Dorgu off, and I wanted to take Mount off, and I wanted to bring on Garnacho and Xerxes for those two. Then what I would have done, I would have dropped Ahmad I wanted to drop Ahmad to wing back, Mazraoui into the free, Shaw to wing back, and have Xerxes in the 10, because what I felt like we really lacked presence. So. And then Garnacho would have gone in the 10 on the right side. But I personally think the players were poor, but I don't think Amorim platformed them well enough. So
I agree.
I tweeted
such a big difference when he came.
I tweeted this morning and I was thinking from last night, that chance that happened just after Xerxes came on. You see what happened? He dropped into that hole in that 10 position. Okay, that was empty for most of the game. Yes. And ideally for me, that's where you want Bruno Fernandez operating. I've said this, I remember we saw it in, I think it was the Victoria Pilsen game, where we had Collier sitting and then you had Fernandez, Mount and Eriksson as those 3 10s, but Fernandez stepped up from the pivot into that central 10 zone, high central. In my opinion, he would have made more impact. So Fernandez I thought was poor, he tried to make stuff happen, but I've not seen him make his actions so obvious in such a while and make such basic technical errors in such a while. I think he had a really off game, unfortunately.
That's what it was. It was the basic technical errors.
And it
was not just from Bruno. Yes, from Bruno, but from everybody.
And I think also
bizarre.
Really he telegraphed what he was going to do way too much. Spurs read it. You mentioned about Spurs winning every second ball, that they were just there. I think we made it obvious to them what they were doing, but like I said, I don't think into this game, who are the 2 players we were talking about the most, Casemiro and Bruno? How much did we actually see them get involved? Now, we know we don't build through the middle so much, but we're not involving them. In my opinion, if you had Casemiro sit as a single pivot when we had the ball and then Fernandez pushes a bit higher into that central 10 zone, there's a lot more threat. So when Xerxes came on...
worked in the middle, though.
But do you know what, but look at how that's structured. That creates problems, that creates indecision for them, because they're like, okay, then do we try and overwhelm Casemiro but maybe leave Bruno unmarked behind us, or do we do that? And then it's frustrating, but then as well, Mount as well could have dropped into that midfield and helped out more, but this is the thing, he was almost like playing higher and wider, but then you didn't really see him on...
I didn't see. My biggest issue with United, right, and my biggest worry for Amorim, I don't know if that's one of your questions, but I'm just going to talk about it anyway.
Yeah, we will go on to Amorim.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the players then. The players for me are just not adaptable enough. They're just not adaptable enough. I think they can thrive in a basic setup, in a basic system, 4-2-3-1 maybe, a counter-attacking style. transitional footballs where they thrived under Oli. I've seen them thrive under it. I've seen them thrive. But when it comes to you trying to do too much instruction, I've seen it with Ralph Ragnick when he tried to gang press. It didn't work out. I've seen it with Erik ten Hag when he's tried to implement his style of football. It didn't work out. And now I'm seeing it with Amorim. Erik ten Hag now said, you know what? I can't implement my style with these players. Amorim's already given up on the players in terms of, or a lot of them in terms of what he can do. And my worry is now we're going to be potentially entering into a new season with a lot of these players still here. And my worry is that why can't we're bringing in managers when we've got players that are just not adaptable.
But then my question is, why for a final is Amorim not adapting?
But
why for a final is he not adapting?
Because Amorim, yeah, and this is where it comes down to like the board and the decisions, right? Amorim's done his interviews. He's done his interviews, interviewed for the job and said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm starting off the season like this, and I'm going to continue the season like this." He hasn't adapted throughout the whole season. Right? He said, this is what I'm going to do.
But the Ange is the exact same, and Ange has adapted to this final, and like fundamentally, that's the difference. Ange has adapted.
That is the kind of thing that made Jose Mourinho so good.
Do you know,
at winning cups.
Amorim has lost his last 3 finals now.
Yeah. No, and I get that, and that's
his only 3 finals.
You down your shield when you make your decisions like that. But we brought in a guy that is very rigid in how he plays, and the board knew that, and they brought him in. So my thing is now, where do you go from here?
And then the frustration has to be, when I've seen him make adaptations, we've been better. So like I said, I've seen that where Fernandez steps up a bit higher from the pivot, plays in that central 10 zone. That would have distorted Spurs' structure entirely. It would have given him something to think about. Ahmad, when his best plays in that game came when he was receiving wide on the touchline, but a lot of the time we had him inside the pitch and we just weren't getting the ball to him enough.
I want to quickly touch on what you said about the players not being adaptable enough. I don't think the issue is that the players aren't adaptable enough. I think that the issue, this is a slightly nuanced twist on what you said, is that we don't have too many of the players we have in our squad aren't adaptable, because I think there's some who are. Ahmad, I think, has been very he's adapted well to being 10 a winger as a wing back.
Yes.
Bruno Fernandez, adaptable.
There's
I think Lenny already, but this is what I mean, is I think we do have adaptable players in this squad, and they also happen to pretty much all be our best players, right? It's De Ligt, I think, before he got injured, was adapting very well to being both a wide and central centre-back as opposed to a centre-back and a back two. Lenny are the same. Nusir Mazwari's probably had to adapt more than anybody. And him and Ahmad, and I think they've both done very well. Mazwari is better as a right centre-back than a right wing-back, we all know this, but he's a good player and adaptable regardless. Off the top of my head,
no, I agree.
But what I mean is that I think we need to, this summer, we need to get rid of the players who aren't adaptable and bring in more who are. But we'll go into the summer in a bit. The one thing I do want to say is we have just over 300 people watching right now, so I want all of you guys to smash that like button. I know you don't want to because you don't like United, but hopefully you like us. Smash the like button. We're currently on 42. I want to see that up to 70. Smash the like button, and also please make sure get involved in the comments. We're going to be doing the next album. We'll move on to Amorim in a second, and then we're going to be doing a keep, loan, sell for the entire squad, and just decide, who we keep and who we loan and who we selling.
Guys, I know, like we're all upset, but it'll make us a bit less upset.
I think let's try and have a bit of fun. Okay, I do want to say a couple super chats. Dwayne Malander says still mad that he changed a winning squad.
Winning squad. Who did he? What did
I'm not. Which winning squad? We lost all. We haven't won in 8 Premier League games. Yeah. But maybe you're talking about the semi-final. I don't know. And then Eminem says managers adapting to his players is the quality you should have. Amorim does not have it. This is what makes Ole somewhat work for 2 seasons. It's a short-term fix. I agree. The reason that Erik ten Hag did really well in his first season was because he designed a setup that maximised the players he currently had. That's why Rashford was amazing. We had the right strikers, but Rashford good. And then when he tried to change it, without changing too many of his players, change the system to what he wanted to play, it kind of fell apart. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, again, he designed a system for the players he had. One of the things, and this is, I think, a key point as to why I don't want to see Amorim sacked right now, I don't want Amorim to have to adapt to this. So I'm thinking about next season, right? I have been thinking about next season, bar the Europa League final, for a while. I don't want to have Amorim to adapt to the players we currently have, because I think 70% of this squad are shit. I don't want to see him adapt to a set of shit players, right? I want to see us get rid of all of these. I'm going to try and not swear too much on this. I don't know how YouTube feel about me swearing too often, but adapt to all these rubbish players, right? Get them out, get literally half this squad. I know it's a big ask, and I don't know how United are going to do it this summer. Jason Wilcox is going to have to pull off some absolute magic to get it done. But which is why I think we're trying to sign players early now. Like Cunha deal's done, that deal hopefully soon, as long as he comes in. But I'd rather see us, instead of trying to adapt to all these terrible players to keep them, get rid of so many of them, bring in players who are just better. I don't care about if they're specifics for the system. I don't think they will be specific for the system. We've not signed a single player under Ineos so far who is a really specific player. I know Cunha might be, you've got the whole argument, but in general, I think get in players who are just better and then see how that gets on. Because I'm tired of the managers. Like this is me just crashing out a bit now. Why would you want to see Manchester United's manager, if it's Ruben Amorim or whatever, bend down and kind of succumb to the will of players that we all think are crap? Why? Because then you're keeping the players through a bad system. I would rather see.
Over the I agree. I don't want us to be paving over the cracks, winning the title like this. Manchester United, for us to get to anywhere we need to be, right? Look, if you play this system well, right? If you play this 5 at the back well, yeah, it is a dangerous formation, bro. We don't have anything in attack because we're not playing it well. We're playing 5 at the back. We shouldn't even be 5 at the back. We're playing it bad, and I don't know if that's down to the personnel, but let's say it is down to the personnel, right? We're not playing the system optimal. When you see Conte do it, when you've seen Alonso do it, when you've seen, who else has done the 5? When you're seeing, no, that's Conte. When you're seeing like...
Inzaghi's got it right now.
De Zerbi, is it De Zerbi?
No, Inzaghi.
Inzaghi at Inter.
Like, it is clinical. It is effective.
Yeah, but his players are so good.
And no, that's not.
You've got like centre backs. You've got like Bastoni, who's incredible.
And this is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, the players that Manchester United, yeah, we might have adaptable individuals that are versatile, but as a collective, when you give this team too much instruction, they're gonna crash out.
So don't give them too much instruction.
But then
it's not that hard.
But then we've gone and brought in Amorim, who's not that. His identity is in what he does. You understand? I can't buy an orange and say, "Oh, behave like an apple."
Well, then you can apply that to the players at the same time.
What do you mean?
And this is like what I was going to say on the point of, okay, a manager should not just say, "Okay, no players, you go do what you want." All right. At the same time, a manager should not come and say, "Right, this is exactly how we're going to do things. Get in line or get out." Right? You've got to meet in the middle somewhere. Okay. You come in, you establish what your principles are, but you need to find a way to make those players that you have work while still keeping your principles. In my opinion, Amorim could have done a much better job of that with this Man United squad. I don't think he's done a good job of it.
I agree. I think there's more Amorim could have done.
A terrible job of it.
But he has. I think we're going to see that. This might just be being a bit optimistic, but I think we're going to see exactly what you're saying he should do this summer, because he came in right. Almost slightly against his will, in terms of he wanted the job, but he wanted to come in. He wanted to come in as of like next week, right? Imagine right now we're sat here and then Ruben Amorim comes in next week. Fantastic, right? But it's not happened. And I think he's gone and done the 3 at the back system from day one. And the one positive, I know I'm slightly grasping at straws here, but the one positive is that the players who are good and do stay now already have 5-6 months of it under their belt.
But then I think you could have easily implemented the system, but then for the players who maybe struggle a bit more, I mean, look at what he did with Casemiro. At first, when he had both his midfielders pressing really high, it wasn't working as much Casemiro. Then he adapted it so that one midfielder would press high and Casemiro would, sit a little bit more and cover that space. And it worked better. And that's a prime example, but it took him months. It took him months and an Ugarte injury. And that's why I can't give Amorim that much credit for the Casemiro thing, I'll be honest, because if it wasn't for the Ugarte injury, he wouldn't have done it. He got forced into making that.
You don't know that, but I do see where you're coming from.
And you saw me for ages saying, like, Casemiro.
No, you were right. You were banging on about it a lot.
Like, this is actually a prime example of what I'm saying. Like, yes, you can keep your principles, but not every single one minor individual tactic has to be the same. And this is where you said about oranges and apples, like, adapt. Make it work with what you have. This team was good enough to beat Spurs. Yes, we did not. The players hold fault because, in my opinion, they just weren't up for it enough. I think they cracked under pressure. They didn't want it enough. They made a lot of mistakes. But at the same time, as the manager, you need to inspire belief. You need to platform them to be successful. He didn't do that.
So I look at it like this, right? Manchester United, yeah. Let's take any other team in the league, top 6 team in the league. You give them a different setup, a different tactical setup, right? They're not going to finish 16th.
That's 'cause
Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, City are not finishing 16th, potentially 17th. They're not. There's a certain principle baseline underpinning them. They're players, even if it's freestyle football. Even if you're doing Carlo Ancelotti freestyle football, I don't get involved. You're getting a certain baseline level out of these players. Manchester United's better, and I asked this before, like, what is our level? What is our baseline? Because we've skyrocketed now, we plummeted, all the way down to 16th, 17th. There's a certain amount of input that you need to get from your players, your coaches, your manager, you need to get a certain level. If you're getting 30% from here, you get 70% from here, 50-50, whatever you call it, however you weight the importance of it. We're getting 0 from the coach, and we're getting 0 from these players in this system. And what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter what system we play. We should be getting a certain level of output from either.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? You were getting 0, both ends.
But this system is making the players worse right now. In my opinion, this squad is not.
This is why I'm happy.
Bad.
This is why I'm happy, because if it's making it worse, we can't have. Man United is never going to progress forward if we keep having the manager come in here and just be doing counter-attacking football.
But we don't need to do that.
Counter-attacking football is not going to win us Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues.
Do you think we need to do
in the future?
Do you think that anything other than counter-attacking football will have us finish 16th? In the league?
No.
But that's my point.
This is what I'm trying to say.
My
Then
issue
is that the manager, his specific system, he's actually harmed us more than he's helped us.
No, I think he's helped us in the long run more than he's harmed us, because I want him to blow it up. My issue about this, I hate losing in the final first and foremost. But what I was more worried about, I read some articles today on Sky Sports, but what my bigger worries was, can we attract the players that we want to buy? Are we going to have the funding that we're going to have? Like, is X player going to leave now? That was my bigger worries. Like, the cup is what it represents rather than lifting a trophy. And I know some fans might be like, yeah.
We're Man United.
But it is what it is.
I actually think you're both right. It's one of the things of, I think, I agree with you, Firmz, in that I think what he's done will help the club long term, because he's gutted us, and what he's done is he's really held up a mirror, right? Like, I'm not saying this is what he was trying to do, but it's what's ended up happening is that he's come in, and what's happened is he's held up a mirror, and everyone now United, I think I've definitely changed my opinion on this squad, is everyone's gone, oh crap, we're actually shit. But at the same time, he's also not done some things that he should have to just kind of hold stuff together ever so slightly until the summer. It's almost like, the thing is that he's ripped the Band-Aid off, but he's also taken some of the skin with him. Yeah. So that he's ripped the Band-Aid off, and it's like, fine, that's the Band-Aid's gone, but you've also inflicted a bit further damage because you've also ripped some of the skin. But it's healable and it's gettable. So I knew I want to move on to a couple more super chats. We're getting some super chats today. It's lovely. Thank you so much, guys. I'm loving it. But they're all disagreeing with us, by the way. So Dwayne Molanda says benching Ugarte and Garner was bold but stupid not to bring them on, especially knowing Bruno should be further up the pitch in the final. Subs at 70 minutes.
Ugarte on that pitch would have been run over. Let's just make that clear. Ugarte, I'm glad he didn't touch the pitch. That's the one thing Amorim got right yesterday.
Eminem, I think this is directed at me, says, completely disagree. Adapting is not short term. I'm not saying that adapting is a short term thing. I'm saying that adapting is a short term system, that adapting is a short term solution that sometimes is at detriment to if you want to put foundations in for a longer thing. Because if you're adapting short term, like when I say adapting, I'm talking about like what Erik ten Hag did, right?
Exactly.
Where he put in one system for a season and then completely switched up the entire thing. Yeah. And
the last couple of games. And
then it just and that's what I think didn't work. And then Joseph says no excuses. He won 6 Premier League games in 6 months. Yeah, I've got no defence for that.
There's no defence.
Absolutely outrageous. Dwayne Malanda says the fact he didn't play Cobby, man of the match in the FA Cup final. I do think Cobby should have got some more. Yeah, if you guys there are so many comments coming in today. I'm really grateful for it. But if you want to make sure that I do read everything you're at, because there's too, I can't keep up with everything. I'm dyslexic, so I can't keep up with everything that everyone's saying. But if you get your super chats in, I'll make sure I read it out and we'll talk about them. But I want to move on now to the section that we're going to do, where keep, loan, sell for the players. Now, hopefully, not 100% sure if this will completely work, but
we touched on Amorim. Is Amorim included in this?
Amorim is included in this.
He needs a segment.
So what I'm going to say is we'll go through the first team squad and quick, you got 20, 30 seconds to think, okay, keep, loan or sell the player. And what hopefully we're going to do is get some polls in the chat as well so that you guys who are watching live can also, click keep, loan or sell. And then we'll see, do you agree or disagree with us? And you'll definitely probably end up disagreeing with us. But,
can I first just say on the summer, now that we know that the money's going to be tight, I'll be honest, right?
It's about 200 mil.
I would be happier
guaranteed.
if we buy a few
we'll money.
really important players. In my opinion, an experienced striker, a quality midfielder because Casemiro can't do every game, and a goalkeeper, and fill the rest of academy players. I would rather rebuild with the academy.
Mate, if we,
I would rather rebuild with the
goalkeeper.
Academy.
We need a new
I
goalkeeper.
would rather rebuild with the academy than go out and buy, players like Cunha. I've accepted we're going to unfortunately waste the money on him, but
you really don't rate Cunha.
No, it's not that I don't rate him. I just don't like the signing. I think he's a good player. I just wouldn't sign him for us. But either way, all right. I would rather we.
Are we wasting the money on Delete?
We're not going to buy him now.
I still think we're going to get him.
We're not going to buy him now.
No,
as in he won't say yes to us.
No,
kind of thing.
Bro, I swear I heard something like he doesn't.
No. I still think that he will. No, it's not 100%. This makes it harder because Chelsea and Newcastle and go, "Are you serious?" Like if he goes, "Oh, I kind of want to join United," they'll just go, "Are you serious?" No, you don't. But I still think we're odds on for the lap. But that's a pure gut feeling. That's nothing to do with I know. Okay, so just Joe Blackman has said a manager should be able to adapt. You guys are lucky I'm not there today.
I wish Joe was here.
He said that's also Joe Blackman, member of United View Members Club for 25 months now, over 2 years. Big up, Joe. But right, so I'm going to say, although Amorim will put up first. I'm going to instead of keep, loan, so you can't loan Amorim. You keep or go Amorim this summer. I just want a quick one-word answer. I'm going keep. But I'm going keep on the caveat that if it's not working by December, and it's always fucking December, or it's not working by New Year, either if it's kind of going okay-ish, keep until the end of the season and maybe bin him off. But if it's going badly, genuinely just bin him off. Because I like him, I want him to stay, but he has until December-ish to convince me that he can go long term. Firmz or Yusuf?
Me?
Firmz, go.
Amorim. Keep him on a hope and prayer and vibes, but of no merit whatsoever. He don't deserve to be here. It's off pure faith, hope and vibes. And to get rid of the players, like I mentioned before, that are not adaptable. We need players that can adapt to different styles of managers. Otherwise, we're going to be bringing in we need guys that can adapt. And no manager has got the best out of these players in terms of adapting outside of a counter-attack and style.
Maybe they haven't, all the players are just shit. Sorry. Yusuf, go.
We're not going to get rid of him realistically.
No, but this isn't about realistic. This is what would you want to see?
Okay, get out.
You say get out?
Get out.
Who would, just a quick thing, who would you want to see in, or do you not know?
I would take you in right now.
Me?
Right now,
I'd
take you.
Yeah, but why? You know my favourite formation is 3-4-1-2.
I think you genuinely would make it more attacking.
3-4-1-2. Two strikers, wing-backs, two strikers, one central midfielder, and then two behind him.
If you ask me right now,
formation.
I'm saying get out. But if I'm in a few days, I'll probably say, you know what, given the summer, I'll be honest, I'm as much as I'm the tactical head on here or whatever, I am an emotional guy. It hurts me, this loss, and that's I'm just really embarrassed about how he's managed the season. So right now I will say go, but in a few days when I've calmed down and my head's a bit more straight, I'll probably say keep. But
fair enough.
Regardless,
that's fair. You're a fan at the end of the day.
He's got to show something
I agree.
quickly.
Jack Mannions actually said something very funny. He said in full caps, blind faith should only be reserved for God. Have shame.
Bro, I can't argue with you. What's his name?
Joe Mannion.
Joe Mannion, I can't argue with you, bro. I promise you.
Right,
I just want this guy to finish off his job.
We're gonna move on to the squad. Right. First off, Andre Onana.
Sell.
I'm gonna go sell.
Get out!
Oh, you're telling him to get out, not me?
Onana. Carlton.
I think that was a very quick one.
I think, Onana, that was a pretty... so, actually, just for the poll for Amorim, 52 votes, it was 72% keep, 27% go. So Andre Onana, I think, is kind of... I was more on the fence about selling him like kind of earlier this year, because he did go through a period before he started making mistakes where he actually looked pretty solid. And then when Amorim first came in, he was like, there was a point where he was like top of Premier League Golden Glove charts and everything. But it's in the last, I'd say 3 months, it's been gnawing away at me that like how much, it's not necessarily even how, it's how nervous he makes everybody. Like it's the Euro thing, yeah? Where he didn't come out to collect the ball.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
That was like, even from perspective of like come out and even to just like, Euro probably should have just absolutely whacked it as soon as he saw Amorim didn't come out. That's an experience, but that's okay because he's in a Euro, he's 19.
I tell you,
What
I
are you doing not
respect
coming
that
out?
he was brave. I respect that he was brave and tried to get out of it.
Yeah, no, I like Euro. I have nothing but respect for Euro, but yeah, no, that was.
And even the communication, like talk to your defenders as well.
Andre Onana is currently at 98% sell, 2% keep.
100%. The amount of silly corners we gave away as well. Communicate. Tell your defenders
Yeah.
you're free.
There was one-
It's just he makes
behind you.
he's a you know
There was
yeah,
one
no,
dog who
and
gave away, which
Yeah.
really pissed me off, I can't lie.
Where was the communication there, bro? Where was the someone saying,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like there needs to be someone commanded there. There's no communication. We give away 3, 4, 5, 6 corners back to back. Like that could have been a goal down easy.
Anana's a poison chalice now. I think no matter how good he
annoying,
was
bro.
to perform it here, it's one of those things where like we'll get into Hoyland, but I'm putting them in the same boat. But I think they're actually not technically as bad as people think they are, but they are at this point a bit of a poison chalice, right? Do we want to talk about like Bayindir?
Oh, forget him, bro.
I don't think we need to talk about it. Like, okay, yeah, so like, we won't already polls up for Bayindir. I'd keep Tom Eaton because
Tom
why
Eaton's
not?
a great
He has no negative effect on the club. But I think he's been offered a new deal actually.
Yeah.
Right, okay, we're going to move on to the defence. I'm not going to actually entertain Victor Lindelof because he's going this summer anyway. Nusayr Mazraoui.
110%. Mind you.
I've really liked.
My days.
I think he's been such a fantastic signing, man. I think at right wing back, he's not been amazing, but I
he's
think
been good, honestly.
I think he's been all right, but I think he's suffered for playing so many games of football this season because he was injury prone. I think before he joined, right?
You know,
Or like there were things about his injury.
There was one clip as well I saw from the Palace game, the one under Ten Hag, where we should have won like 25-0, where we were like, we switched the ball to Ahmad on the right. Mazraoui started like slightly inside the pitch on the halfway line. He was sprinting to overlap Ahmad, like really, really sprinting. I've not seen that in a bit. Like you can tell the guy's so tired out, but honestly, man, the guy, credit, like he was one of the players for me yesterday who can leave his head held high. I thought he like did really well. Obviously, he created a really good chance, but he showed character yesterday. He fought, he battled.
Yeah.
You could see how knackered he was when he went off, but.
And he's a club signing, so he's one of those guys where, regardless of whether Amorim's hair or gone, you can see him slotting in centre back, slotting in right back.
He's one of the best
back.
players in the world in his position.
Do you know what I mean?
All I'm saying is he was an Ineos signing.
Yes.
Like, I don't mind their recruit by Ugarte. I don't mind their recruitment. Right, so Mazraoui, we've got currently 96% key, 56
Listen,
votes.
who is the 4%? I'm gonna have conversations with you guys. Seriously.
0% loan. No one thinks we should loan out Nusayr Mazraoui. 3% have said sell. Joe Blackman said who said sell. Friday player, keep, right centre. I think they've said keep as a right centre back specifically. I think yes. Joe Blackman says no. He was a Ten Hag signing. He wasn't a Ten Hag signing, bro.
I don't.
Signing. Bro, if he was a Ten Hag signing, then thank you, Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah, the one good thing he's done. I don't believe that he was a Ten Hag signing. Right. Okay. So Mazraoui, keep. Delit.
Keep.
110%
Easy keep.
Keep.
Oh, we've missed him, you know.
The
I think we've
captain,
missed him.
future captain,
Maguire's
if Bruno
stepped
leaves.
up when because Delit's not been around, and there are the injury things. It's a little bit concerning, you know, how often he missed in the last kind of like 2 months. But I think that he was really, really as I said this before, I think he was really, really starting to adapt to his role under Amorim. Because he
was becoming a consistent.
I like him, and he's got that like United intangible in him.
He was giving him
Maguire started. Sorry, Karen.
No, go.
Maguire started off well last night with a few nice balls still good, but overall in the night he disappointed me a bit, and I think he lost his head with Romero. I feel like Delit would have had.
He was wasting our time, wasn't he? It's just like
he was.
When you're winning, you can do all of that foolery, but when you're losing, don't get involved with all of them things. There, just play your game. Do you understand?
Yeah, but you carry on.
Yeah.
what was I going to say?
Talking about Delite,
De Ligt has
future
been,
captain-esque
he's been providing like consistent performances for me. He was a standard, like he's, you know, Mazraoui, where you could say he's a standard 7 before he even gets out on the pitch or whatever it is like that as a baseline.
I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like Delite was one.
I think he had his dodgy moments here and there, but I think in general.
Yeah.
Part of that was because we just left him isolated. But
Yeah.
Daniel Sterling says he was definitely an Eric Ten Hag signing. Ghost check. I think that was Mazraoui. I don't think Ten Hag went, oh, we should go get Mazraoui. I think that was, I would want to believe that was recruitment. You know, like they
Eric Ten Hag signing.
Well, he signed under Eric Ten Hag, but I don't think Eric Ten Hag went. I know it's an ex-Ajax thing, an ex-player, blah, 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 but I don't like. He just screams of a value for money signing that like Jason Wilcox, whoever, I know it's like Omar Barada or Dan Ashworth would have gone. We should, because I think one of the ones where we would have gone in for Delite and then also had a look and gone, oh, he's around as well. You know what? Why not?
But Can I just say, we know why Bayern Munich sold Mazraoui. Everyone in chat, free Palestine, go for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was. It was the.
Was it political?
It was the Instagram story. Yeah, political.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I don't understand how clubs can get that.
Man.
Yeah.
Everyone in chat, say free Palestine.
Wow.
I'll see if they come in.
Throw up the freeze, guys. Throw up the freeze.
No, Daniel's again saying no. People just trying to discredit him. He was. Well, either way, if he's a Ten Hag signing or an Ineos signing, he's at Manchester United, and I'm very, very happy that he's here. Right, we're going to go on to Delite. Oh yeah, Delite's currently at 91% keep, 7% sell, 1% loan. Interesting.
Well, let's just assume somebody pressed the wrong button.
Someone is just trolling.
Right, next one. This is a guy who definitely will be staying. Allegedly, he's on the unsellable list. But Harry Maguire.
I mean, I can't. What's the point in selling him now?
Yeah, I think there's no point in selling him.
We've missed the boat to sell him realistically. And to be honest, he's about. Like, I know Chris. He's a useful guy to have in the squad. Like he does his bit. We may as well keep him.
I'd want to, even if he had like 2 years left on his deal, you know, I'd want to keep him.
I'm impartial because for me, you've got Aiden Heaven, you've got. When is Martinez due back?
November.
Yeah, much later.
Oh, that's too late. Yeah, it's too late. You've got to keep him.
I don't like. He's got like. Okay, yes, he was bad in the final, but in general, like he's been so good for us the last few months. He came third in our Player of the Year, in our Fans Player of the Year vote. He's a really good someone to have around because we've got. Like you said, you would like to see us base a lot of the rebuild around the academy. If we do that, you need someone like Maguire.
But we need to move on from. I think the thing about some of our players is we're stuck within a rock and a hard place. Like people like Maguire is a good example of that. It's like he's good, but we can't progress whilst he's still here.
Do you know, like if. He can. We don't necessarily need him to be a key player. He can always be a squad player, but I think there's not much value in selling him now. Like, what are you going to get for him realistically?
I mean, is it based on the value or is it based on? Because for me,
well, so I don't think so. Maguire, the big reason I think he's in the squad is because Delite isn't, especially in the last month.
And also because he like Dylan said, if you want to bring character players, like Tyler Fredrickson's coming in really aggressive. Harry Maguire is really helpful with the academy and stuff like. He's a good character.
Amas and Fredrickson have both said the same thing.
Harry Maguire in the air is amazing, right? Sometimes he gets caught out with his positioning. You see, Delite is not the fastest guy in the world, but he knows how to position himself where he's not. You're hardly seeing him chasing. You know what I mean? Like Mr. Noddy. He's not doing that because he's positioned right. And Harry Maguire has these limitations. That's why I'm like, you know what? I understand what you're saying. That he's a good squad player because he's been one of our most consistent players. But we can't move forward. You see what Dogu did when he made that sprint and recovery run and made that challenge, and I was thinking if he missed that, that's a red card.
Yeah.
Was it on Son? Yeah.
It was on Son.
We need our centre backs. If you ain't got good position in that Delite, we need our guys in the defensive areas to have that recovery speed. If we're going to be playing that high line, see what Kyle Walker's been doing all day. We need guys that can do that. And if we ain't got that, and we've got all of these guys that's doing what Maguire. I've counted how many times that Maguire's been chasing back.
I just don't really see much of a point in getting rid now, to be honest.
No, I think keeping. I think most of it's a little more split. About 70% saying stay, 30% saying keep.
Sell, you mean?
Yeah, we have got a couple other super chats in as well. Actually, Trina has asked, do you think Bruno will be stripped of captaincy? I think no. There's no way that, and I also think Bruno's staying. Chris says, anyone here less than 12 months left on their contract stays. Ahmad and Mainu stay. Everyone else can go, provided the club isn't taking a loss on pay for PSR purposes. I think that's pretty
I'm worried
fair.
for Mainu though, you know. Games like that in the finals, I'm worried for Mainu.
No, I think, we'll get on to Mainu in a bit, but I think the overall thing about Mainu was that I don't think he'd put in enough good performances before the final to warrant starting the final. Probably should have come off the bench, but
I think his positioning, you don't know how to play.
Eminem says, pretty sure Maguire is preferred central centre-back to De Ligt. I think he is at the moment, but I don't think that'll be the case. I think Maguire's starting max 25 games, 25 games next season.
Because
100%.
as well, like, I think he put De Ligt at right centre-back because he trusts him there more than he trusts Maguire to be there.
100%.
Right, okay, I'm not going to ask about Martinez or Malacia because Martinez can't be sold this summer because he's injured. There's an argument to, like, long-term, is he going to stay or not?
Anyway.
Yeah, I'd want to keep him. Malacia, he's going. I'm not going to, you don't care about that.
Yeah.
Dorgu, I would, maybe not the sell, but like keep or loan.
I'll keep him.
I guess. Yeah, I'd keep Dorgu as well. I don't think we need to do a poll on Dorgu.
I'll be honest, like, loaning wouldn't be, if we had someone else as a real, like, option there, loaning wouldn't be the worst option in the world. But
And I don't trust you.
I think I would say keep, and also if the budget or whatever allows, have someone else there as well. I mean, obviously we got Amas as well.
And we've got Diego Leon coming in as well.
Diego Leon, true, yeah.
As well. It's too raw.
Well,
No. Diego Leon's coming in as an academy signing. He's going to be going through what Chido Obi's been through this season. Sekou, he's like just turned 18.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Like, well, he's not even turned 18 yet. I thought he's turning 18 in July or something. Diogo Dalot. I'm also skipping Lene Yoro, by the way, because everyone's keeping.
Not because I think
Yoro.
he's great, by the way. It's just that he's just a useful player right about now, and I just don't know if we're going to be going after a right wing back.
Dalot should keep, like, look, he's
usable. He can play.
He's versatile. Yeah. He works really hard. You can tell he really cares. He's always available. He's got a lot of good qualities.
He's decent defensively.
I think Dalot was good.
It's not good.
I think Dalot was good yesterday when he came on Twitter. Like, he put the cross in for that Luke Shaw header.
He put in a. Actually, you're right. He put in a.
He put in a couple good crosses.
I think he's improved a lot offensively.
Yeah.
He put in the crosses that I wish we'd seen Mazraoui put in. This is why I think Mazraoui should. Mazraoui is a decent right wing back, but he's not got the attackingness of the right wing back that we need. No pun intended. But like Mazraoui he's better as a right, because Mazraoui can do it. We've seen that. Like Mazraoui's put in some good balls when he's been playing at right centre back and then stepped into the field a bit.
His recovery challenges, like those last man challenges.
What, Mazraoui?
There's one yesterday, that last man challenge. He's done so many.
You know what that's down to? His intelligence.
We need more. We just need more players. I think Dalot, has been slightly hard done by this season. I think he's a bit underrated at the moment because he's had one of those things where, like, he's played so many damn games of football that his level just ended up dropping a bit. He's played 2 years of football. I think pre-season, a bit of time under Amorim, just a bit more time to kind of settle and readjust. I think he can improve. Not saying he's going to be a world beater or anything, but I think he can improve. And if he can interchange the wing-back role with Ahmad, and I don't know if we're going to bring in another one or not, I think that's okay.
My issue is where's your right wing-back here? Dalot as a normal, like, fullback, fine. As a right wing back here, the levels has to increase.
In my opinion, he actually increased his levels from when Amorim first came in. I think he actually started adjusting.
I think he's getting better. I do think he's getting better.
I'm waiting to see that, man. I'm waiting to see it, bro.
I think we'll see a lot this next season.
Yeah, let's see.
This is the thing about having no European football next season, man, is that, like, we have a full week of training before every single game. There is a silver lining, but it's going to be boring, and my job's going to be hell for the next season. Right, so Dalot was 53% keep, 47% sell. Pretty 50-50 split. Luke Shaw. I woke up this morning. You know that Simpson meme where Mark Simpson. Homer. I don't know why I said Mark. Homer Simpson just wakes up angry. I woke up Luke Shaw was on my mind and angry. I was fuming. But the thing is, I actually think since he's come back from injury this time round, he has dropped.
Yeah.
His levels dropped.
Definitely.
I don't know if that's just because he's not played football in a year. I have no idea. But his level was just dropped, man. He
In my
doesn't look as
opinion, though,
strong, as
again-
quick, as technically good, or anything.
Since his
Again,
injury,
hasn't-
that's
hasn't-
ruined him, to be honest.
I'm going to say sell because I wouldn't mind him going.
I'll be honest, hasn't he got like a year left on his deal or something?
I think it's 2.
I'd keep. You're not going to get anything for him now, really. Like, I don't know how much interest you'll really get, anyways, because they know he's always injured.
Yeah,
But
he's gonna
when he
leave
is
for free.
here, he's got something to offer. And to be honest, the goal yesterday, I thought he was quite unfortunate. I blamed Dorgu more than Shaw for the goal. I'll be
I
honest.
agree, but
He should have done better. But
Yeah.
I thought Dorgu, like, it stemmed from Dorgu. a bit
I
more.
don't think. I think there's multiple players who have something to blame for that goal, and I would rather just say it was a collective shit show
Yeah.
than single anyone out
what
for
are we
it.
doing here with Shaw? Because we know what time it is with Shaw. Shaw's going to give us 3 games next season and he's out again. My thing is,
If he stays, I think he'll probably be
my
more available
opinions
next season
and
because he won't
probably-
play every week.
some of our opinions are probably being tainted by the fact of what is the squad depth looking at. So in my mind, I'm thinking,
We've-
is
in my
it
opinion,
based
we've got
off just the
options.
player and forget about the squad depth, or forget about who, you know,
Well, that's
as
why
a
I look at
player.
the context.
And
like,
that's
you
why
know,
it's confusing, because
I
I'm
think-
mixing the two.
When Shaw's not played every week and had people to compete against, he's stayed fit.
I just
right?
don't
like
see
Malacia in his first season
the
and
value
everything.
in selling Shaw at this point.
I understand that. Just the reason I'm saying sell is because I
sake of
couldn't
it.
care. I don't care if he went. If that makes it. If he
So is this
stays,
tied with value as well? Because if we're just talking about pure,
by the way,
like,
he
you know
is
what I
at
mean?
Luke Shaw is at 92% sell.
Of course,
Yeah.
bro. If forget about that,
Joe Blackman says he's more used to being injured than fit.
yeah, bro, he needs to go. We need to move on from these injury guys. And,
Adam
if he
Khalifa
was
says he's
fit.
finished.
No, let's move on. Just like we tried, like, yeah, we just need to move on from that. The most underrated attribute is the availability. We just need guys that are available. Like Xerxes just coming back now probably cost us because now he's only able to play 20 minutes of a final instead of, 90 minutes. Like, we need guys that's just available. And it's nothing on him. He's not an injury-prone guy. I'm not saying that, but being available could just turn
That's
your
why I
season
think
around.
Dallow's so valuable.
Yeah,
And
I
Dallo
agree.
is valuable in that, which is why I said Dallo, keep him, right? Because he does provide
Yeah,
some value. to him.
Luke Shaw's finished in this
Well,
chat.
he's done. Luke Shaw's done.
He probably will stay, and like if he
he'll
does,
stay,
if he stays right, and he's the 5th choice centre back, like obviously first 3 start, and then he's out there 4, 5, 6, kind of. He plays some games, fine.
Plays
Because
some
he's
games,
left-footed,
fine.
and we don't have enough left-footed players in this squad. This is a gripe I have. I really hope this summer we sign a load of left-footed players. I don't know if we will, but we don't have enough left-footed players. Left-footed players,
The balance
are
is
what
off it.
make football fun. Right, so many apart from Anthony. Even Anthony's making football fun in Spain, actually. To be fair,
They are
but
doing
like,
that.
come on, you got like Gareth Bale, Lionel Messi, all obviously Son's 2-footed, but like all the like left-footed players. I'm saying this because
Ahmad.
I'm left-footed, by the way. Ahmad as well. We need more left-footed players in this team. That we don't have enough.
This reminded me of that game last year, the charity game.
Oh, well,
with Brendan,
that we played in, yeah.
Yeah, that was such a funny finish. You're right foot, by the way.
What was your
Yeah.
position?
You played a what, like attacking mid, right?
I played like in
Or like
midfield,
number
you
8.
know, like up front, like-
I played at left back, and then we were so far down that I just kind of started running up front, and then I scored this outside of the area, weak foot chip shot, top bins. It was quality. I'm not going to name any of the defenders because the rest of the defenders on the list are Heaven, Johnny Evans, Harry Amas, and Tyler Frederick. Actually, Tyler Fredrickson, keep or loan?
Loan.
No, I'll keep.
We won't do a poll
He's
for him
looked,
loan.
he's
because
looked like a good. He's looked.
I'd
good.
say keep him.
I would loan him. Not to get rid of him, just for him to get a bit of experience so he can come back.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Harry Amas, I think
mind it,
everyone's
but-
going to say keep Harry Amas.
We need to, we need
I
to.
would keep Tyler Fredrickson one more season around the senior football. Then maybe if our defence looks solid, loan him out to a championship club to have a full 38 game season.
Or even loan him out in January or something.
I'll do that. I'll loan him.
But I would
100%, 'cause I've seen the
I
talent.
would keep him now because centre back's not a priority in the summer, if that makes sense. Like he can stick around. If we end up signing 2 centre backs or something for some reason, then you can loan him out because you know he needs football. But keep him around for a bit. I guess, yeah. Midfielders, Mason Mount. Bearing in mind that apparently I'm Mason Mount, keep or sell me. No.
Well, if you put it that way, then sell.
Keep loan or sell Mason Mount. I'd keep him. That really made you laugh, hasn't it?
Next. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in the box to the left. I don't know the lyrics. Next.
All right, Yusuf, I'll come to you. Keep loan or sell Mason Mount.
So I wouldn't mind if we sold him, but probably keep him. Again, he's not a player we're going to have a market for, realistically.
Bro,
I would not mind selling Mason
forget
Mount.
markets. He is.
But how do you
finito.
sell a player with no market?
Just cut his contract.
That costs a lot of money.
That costs so much money, bro.
We need to.
We can barely afford to buy players,
bro.
Much less buy out our own players' contract.
Is net negative, bro. He's net negative. He doesn't do anything. Bro, I promise you, he just doesn't do anything. His existence here in this team is causing us issues. He's a net negative because the minute he's coming on to play, we're making irrational decisions where Garnacho should have been starting, or other players could be taking that spot. Manu, for example. If him not being there impacts us so greatly, him being there impacts us so greatly. It just needs to, it's just a mess. It's a mess. Like I said, we've got 2 players down when we kick a ball every single week. And that is because of Rasmus Højlund and that is because of Manu and Mount. And if Mount comes good...
Is it every single week, though? He's only played like 3 games from the start.
Who?
Mount. He started like 3 games since he came back from injury.
And then every time off bench. Which is probably another...
Well, he scored against Brentford, was amazing in the semi-final second leg, and I thought played okay. I know he got a lot of flack for him. I thought he played okay against Chelsea. It's the final that he wasn't good in. It's one game.
Nah, man.
Let's move on.
I don't think... Yeah,
No.
I don't think it's
game?
enough for selling. Joanne Melanda says Mason is Højlund in the 10, just non-existent.
You see what I'm
Which
saying?
is agreeing with what you said.
He's not... bro, I tell you, yeah, if I notice a guy, I'll notice a guy. If I don't notice a guy, I don't notice him.
And
Like,
then, yeah,
you
fair
just
enough.
don't see
So
him.
he is at 33% keep, 60% sell, 6% loan. So overall judgment in the chat is selling. I just want to say as well, we are on 117 likes. Can we get that right now to 130? Keep it climbing,
50,
keep it climbing.
Bro, 150.
We've been holding a solid 350 viewers pretty much this entire time.
Bro,
It's fantastic.
Run it up.
Keep smashing the like button. Keep letting us know exactly what you think. Right. Next up is Bruno Fernandez.
Keep.
I think keep Bruno Fernandez.
Keep.
Yeah, well, let's move on.
You know what is with Bruno, right? Is I think people. I know there's going to be a minority argument out there being like he is in his 30s now, but he's going to keep. I think he's got like 4 world-class seasons left in him. Bruno Fernandez does.
Good.
It depends on the number though that they throw at me.
For what? Money-wise, I think there's any amount of money on earth. Okay, Bruno Fernandez is worth 3 times more to United than any other.
I'm gonna test your resolve.
But the only number I'm going to say yes to. No, the only number I'm going to say yes to is something that. No. So what I'm saying is there is no realistic figure that anyone's going to bid for United. Okay, if someone comes in and goes £250 million, I'm going to go yes. £250 million gives us £500 million to spend in the summer.
Do you think Saudi won't go up to 200?
No. No one's bidding 200 million quid for Fernandez.
No. What, they wanted to break the transfer record, which is what, 115, right?
Yeah.
So I think realistically,
British
like you
transfer
said,
record, to be
the
fair.
British transfer record, right? 115.
The British, the British sale record. Look, so Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, every player has a price, right? And obviously, I'd have a price for selling Bruno Fernandes, but that price for selling Bruno Fernandes is double what anyone will ever pay for him because that he's worth double, triple to United than he is to any other club. Because he's our captain, he's our leader, he is, I think, I know this is in the light of last night, but club legend, at least the best player we've had since Wayne Rooney retired.
I hear it.
And so selling him, right, as well, you're going to have to buy 4 players to bring what he brings to us. Because I'm not just talking about on-pitch stuff, it's off-pitch stuff. Right, it's like I don't know who like in the comments or anyone who read the report from James Ducker from the Telegraph about Bruno Fernandes, but this guy runs our club. He not obviously he doesn't run the club, but as in like he's like the HR department. He's the captain. He's the leader. He sorts things out. He does so much. I think that people don't see, and he dropped an absolute stinker yesterday, and I'm not going to forgive him for that, but. It's just, to sell him, you'd have to do so much to replace him. And I can't think of a figure that anyone would actually bid for us
And the world will
that
know how
would
much
that
we've
would
got for
make me
Bruno.
okay with that going.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can throw a number at me. It can be 120 million. I'm saying no. It can be 150 million. I'm saying no. You get up towards 200 million, fine, because that is undeniable doubling our summer budget, right? We could buy an entire starting 11 with that. But who the fuck's bidding 200 million for Bruno Fernandez? He's 30. It's not happening.
Look, Saudi, if you want that bad,
That's how I feel about Bruno.
show us the money. Give us something to think about.
So just reading the comments. Bruno isn't Cantona, relax. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying right now.
No, I get
Right now.
he's
So I'm
our-
just reading some of the comments. I'm just saying right now, selling Bruno Fernandez, I think would
100%.
just wouldn't work. 92%. 38% keep, 3% loan, 59% sell.
Bruno.
For Bruno Fernandez in the
damn.
chat. Chat, what?
Well, go on, chat.
What's going on?
We always do this.
What
with our
is
players.
going on?
We say this about our Pogbas, we say this about our Lukaku's, we say this about all of our best players, and then we do revisionism, but then we don't realise that the team progressively year on year gets worse.
Yeah,
Because
I
of
don't
stuff
think
like
I don't think there's an amount of money that any club is actually going to put on the table that's worth saying yes to. Right, let's go to Casemiro.
Keep.
I'd keep him at this point.
This is a tough one. It really is a tough one.
No, it's not.
Because he's got 1 year left on his contract, right?
That's fine. Let him.
He's on big, massive wages. But then he provides that experience, and we need it. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Well, just keep.
I think
We need
he's.
to make a decision on him in real life anyway.
Casemiro is one of those. It's fine keeping him around. Again, we got to remember we don't have 60 games next season. We've got 45, 50 max. Let's say we do well in the cups. That's 50 games max. Casemiro can start 20 of them. I know he's on loads of wages, right? And that sucks.
It's not more than 20.
It's annoying.
realistically.
No, but
I don't even think it's that-
I'm working on the assumption that we're actually going to sign. We're going to sign a new first choice deep midfielder this summer.
Yeah.
Because I think Bruno is going to continue playing deeper. Like I think that'll be his primary. Bruno will play multiple places across next season, assuming he stays. But I think if we sign a new first choice deep midfield player, and he rotates with Casemiro, God knows what happens to Ugarte. I would be happy to keep him, but if we end up getting some Saudi offer and it's a decent amount of money,
Yeah.
fine, he can
That's
go
where
as
I'm
well
at.
because financially fantastic.
That's where I'm at with it.
And we've still got someone like, instead of having Casemiro coming in playing some games, our new first choice DM will play the big games, and you've got like Toby Collier or Kobbie Mainoo who can play a deeper in that game kind of thing.
He's good, but he's just an example
I like him.
of a
I really
bad
like him.
negotiated deal.
Yeah.
I'd
That's
keep
the
Casemiro.
legacy of the bad negotiated deal, 70 million and huge wages. I just want to see an end to that era rather than, you know what I mean? Like Casemiro, like you said, he still has something left. But
Yeah. If we get a 30 million bid
I'm taking it.
from Casemiro for
I'm
Casemiro,
taking it.
I'd push
as
him.
long as the person who comes in is good or like more consistent, better than Casemiro, then I'm not
hope
mad.
for
But
I'm not mad.
Again, so I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, the experience in this team's not enough, bro. Like, who are we bringing in?
This is another part
The
of the problem.
experience in the team's not good.
That's
It's not
fair
enough.
enough. That's fair. Yeah, no,
All we-
I'm not saying
It's
buy some
tough, that's what I'm saying,
21-year-old
so tough.
unproven DM.
Yeah.
But
It really depends on what you said. Who are we bringing in?
Exactly. I
That
can't think of a
person
name
is
that comes
key.
to mind right now because my
Neither
brain
can I.
is fried.
Would you
But
swap him for? Say if you had to get rid of him, but then the money you get from him can allow you to add to your budget to get someone like Edison. Would that be okay for you guys?
No,
I'm not sure you're not a massive fan of Edison, are you?
I don't think he's the right fit. I think it screams of he's a hard-working midfielder who's played in the back three system. Let's buy him.
Who do you think who would you prefer in our midfield if you had to bring in?
If you give me a blank check, I'd go for Carlos Baleba at Brighton. But
Baleba's cold. He's cold.
65, 70 mil.
yeah, but
You know what? If our budget
He's
at
cold.
Edison is around 50 right now and selling Casemiro makes that 70, this is very basic maths, makes that 70 and then we can buy him,
Baleba
what would
be
you think about that?
I wouldn't mind it too much. But again, the experience Casemiro brings us so much. I'd keep him for now.
That's fair. Would you have a price that you'd be happy to see him go for? Like
Upwards of 40.
Upwards of 40.
Yeah, upwards of 40.
That's the thing about this team. We're buying a lot of these youth. We need experiences. We need to buy.
I don't think we'd be getting 40 for Casemiro. I think the max we'd be able to be... Because I think he's proven that he's still got years left
It
in
might
him.
even be 20 million we get from him. I don't even know if it will be 30.
20 million, I don't know if I'd...
1 year left on his contract.
If we were sold him, I'd want,
350k.
I don't know.
The money you save in wages as well.
Yeah, I think I would, for the sake of the poll and the sake of this, I'd say keep, but I'm not going to fight against him going if it's for a semi-decent fee.
Yeah.
I think that's how we feel, ish. You less so, but yeah. Right, Casemiro is done. Manuel Ugarte.
Go, get out now. Get out. Leave.
What fee, Yusuf?
Come on, just
Bro,
give
£7.
Just give me money. Just give me money.
No, I feel like
Yeah,
Ugarte's been misused. I feel like in the right setup, Ugarte does
Yeah,
his
that
thing.
right setup is like, go to go to a team who are staying at 16th or something. Okay, we don't want to be 16th next season. Do you know what I was thinking? You know what Conor Gallagher used to do at West Brom when like that season, and when he was at Crystal Palace. What Conor Gallagher did, he'd be good at that. Not as good as Gallagher, but he'd be good at that.
Yeah, his energy, all energy.
He'd be good at
up
that.
and
But
down
okay,
the
cool. Like send him to Leeds or something. 30 million, bang, go.
Hey, he'd probably cook at Atletico Madrid
pitch. Yeah,
alongside Conor Gallagher.
he will. I think we're just not using. I don't know what's going on with Ugarte.
I don't know what's going on inside his brain.
He's just not right for us.
Yeah, get rid.
He's Ineos's, in my opinion, he's Ineos's one miss.
Do you know what it is? When I was first hearing about Ugarte, I was like, he had the basics well. He done a simple pass. He didn't do I know he can't play with his back against goal. I know in that sense he can get they rob the ball off him and stuff, and he leaves us vulnerable in the midfield. But in terms of passing and going right, he collect that ball. Most of the time he protects it. He can win the ball back. He does these type of things where he adds to his leg. Just the basics of that.
He puts out his own fires.
I've seen the less of what we
That's a
brought
really
him
good
in
way of putting
for,
it.
and more of the mistakes coming out of him.
He
And then that makes me
puts out
think.
his own fires, but I'd rather someone who just doesn't start fires.
But is that what Bruno does? Bruno, yeah, he does this day in day
Bruno-
out.
But Bruno's not a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, and
No, but
also
he
does
still
so
creates his
much
own
more.
issues himself.
Well, sometimes, but then Bruno also solves so many problems that Ugarte just isn't close to being capable of solving.
Ugarte is currently at 76% keep. I think.
Chat, what's going on?
But a lot
bro.
of the chat,
They know.
a lot of the chat are talking about next season, being if he's what we spoke about last week when we were talking about the whole 2-year thing. I think it's a case of if he's not good next season, then bin him
I've
off.
seen enough, just go.
Bro,
It's kind of peak, if he went from Sporting to PSG and then got sold for PSG after 1 year, PSG to United and then got sold again after 1 year.
Crazy.
That's pretty peak on him, just on a person. Okay, so yeah, I'd say keep. Again, purely because I don't think we had the luxury of selling him when so many other players need to be sold, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there are players who just really, really need to be sold. Ugarte, I don't think
He's not my
needs
priority
to be
list.
sold. Him being in the squad isn't a detriment or a drain on the club or anything in the same way that someone like Rashford or Antony and Sancho, etc. are. But again, if he doesn't perform well next season, then fine. If he does, cool, great. He gets better. If he doesn't, then get rid of him. That's it. Yeah. So I'd say keep. You're saying sell. You're saying keep. And chat agree with the two of us. It's keep 78%.
Spot on.
After Ugarte, we now have Kobbie Mainoo,
Keep.
which we're all going to say keep, right?
Let's not even discuss
Oh no,
this
he's
one.
tapping. Firmz isn't sure.
Firmz.
My worry is this manager, and what I
Okay,
was
so
alluding to it
get rid of
earlier.
the manager and keep Mainoo.
My thing about it, is I don't want to have depreciating assets. Mainly as an individual player, for me, he's a gem.
How much
He's
is
a
he
gem.
going to depreciate though? He's
Bro.
20 and ridiculously good, and everyone knows it.
Bro, he can depreciate. We can make him look so bad. My thing is Amorim is struggling to find a place for him in this team. He's struggling.
Is he?
He is.
So,
He's playing him from mid.
But a lot of the games that Kobbie
Mainoo
hasn't played is because he's been on the treatment bench.
No,
Kobbie
no,
Mainoo,
no,
his first season, last season, yes, he's been out for
No,
like 4
that's
months
not what I mean,
collectively.
bro. Amorim, I don't think we can. You know where it was with. I don't think you can ask Amorim and he'll give you a straightforward answer of where his best position is.
Yeah,
He's struggling to find a place for him.
But I don't think that's because I don't think that's anything to do. I don't I know, because people are
It's the
saying that
Pogba
because
situation all
honestly,
over
what
again.
you're saying is like that's because what you're trying to say is that's a red flag, right?
It's a red.
But what
It's not on- it's not
I
on
don't
him.
personally, I don't think the Kobbie Mainoo situation is as deep at all as some people think it is.
Yeah.
He should. Yeah. Last season he was in the three-man midfielder under Erik ten Hag. He was stunning, right?
Yeah.
He was amazing. And when he's played for us at times, he's been stunning. He's been amazing. But what Amorim's not had so far a lot this season is time to understand his players properly, right? And he has throughout the season, like for example, like I know you didn't give him too much credit for it, but the whole adapting to make Casemiro better and kind of learning about Lenny Yoro being really good at the wide, learning how Matthijs de Ligt can adapt and Mazraoui and Dalot and all these players. He's not had that with Mainoo because Mainoo's been injured. And I think the reason Mainoo didn't start in the final or against Chelsea is because Mainoo's not had the time to prove himself, and Amorim, I think, has just made the decision to not deal with that right now, and instead he will deal with it in the summer. Right? He'll deal with it in pre-season because he's had 2 injuries. It was towards the end of last season, so he wasn't around during Amorim's. He was around during Amorim's initial weeks and then got injured, and then he came back and then got injured again for 2 months. And I just think that it's really not as deep as people think it is.
You know, I think
Because
Mainoo's
Amorim will
one
have
of the
time.
best ballers in our team.
I think
top
I think
3
Amorim
or-
knows that.
But my worry is just like, and like you said, maybe he hasn't had enough time to integrate him or see what
He
he's
definitely
about.
hasn't had enough time.
My thing is if he can't do that and integrate him, what do you do? Say next season comes along and we're still in this position.
I just don't see it being an issue.
But if it is an issue, what happens?
I don't know,
Because
man.
the same things, the
Get
same
rid of
conversations that I'm having, spoiler alert, by the way.
If it's an issue, just
that's
get rid
what
of
the comments are
Amorim.
saying. So Dwayne Malanda said if Ruben sells Mainoo, sack him. And then Dwayne Malanda's also said if the club tries for PSR, I'm rioting. I don't
it's
think the club
saying
want to
that-
sell Mainoo. I don't think Mainoo wants to go. I don't think Amorim wants to keep him. So I don't think Amorim wants to sell him. And so I'm just like, cool. Okay, so he will stay and Amorim will find... The only way I think Mainoo goes this summer is if he doesn't agree to a new contract. That's the only way Mainoo goes.
Yeah, I don't think they want to sell him. But
If Mainoo doesn't agree to a new
hypothetically
contract,
speaking, right,
they
from my
kind
point-
of have to.
Yeah.
Amorim disrespect to Mainoo and Anthony is horrendous.
Go.
Says Amor Rashid. Anthony's good in Spain because it suits him. Anthony doesn't suit the Premier League.
That's enough.
Yeah, so the chat for Mainoo, 78% keep, 20% sell, 2% loan. I
wouldn't loan him.
think the Mainoo thing is an issue. I just
I
don't
hope
think
not.
it is.
Fingers crossed. Because if you get the bet, Mainoo's again
It's
a
just
baller.
It's been unfortunate timing for someone who's only just turned 20. Like it's fine.
Where do you think his position is, though? Just hypothetically.
Mainoo's best position.
He's an 8.
I think his best position is an 8 because it gets him forward, but I think he could so easily well play as in either of them.
I don't think he's an 8.
No,
I think his best for work is when he's in and around that box. I think he really is, and I feel like
But
we're wasting him.
that's what an 8 in the midfield 3 does.
I don't think he's got the legs, right?
He didn't. No, he's not.
There's different roles in the game.
I think Mainoo, he's a guy because he's going to get better over the next 5 years. Like I don't think he's going to depreciate because he's going to continue getting better until he's 26, 27, 28, and he's 20 at the moment. His best place under Amorim is probably as within that like the 2-10 roles or something.
I would say
but
under 10.
he's just a really talented player who can probably play in multiple places.
Yeah.
Right. He's just amazing. Kobbie Mainoo is an amazing footballer.
Yeah,
right, and
really do
this is
have
why
to
this is
discuss
why
on
I'm
him.
confident that he'll be okay. Because he's an amazing footballer,
Yeah.
so he will be able to play in our team.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, and I don't see I just don't think the Mainoo stuff is an issue. I really don't. Right, so that was 75% keep for Kobbie Mainoo. Right, okay, we're gonna go on to the forwards now. Rasmus Højlund,
Keep.
sell.
You weren't making eye contact. You knew.
I'm keep. I was saying keep. I'll stand on that.
How?
I'll say keep. Look,
How?
He what is the value? There's no point in selling him. He is a talented player. He's a talented player who has been.
I don't want you to use value as an excuse. I want you to look at the guy.
Hold on, fam.
Brother, I have an
Let
economics degree,
him say his piece
okay?
first.
I will always mention value. He is a
Fizz.
talented player, extreme talented player. He's been thrown in the deep end, right? I've said sometimes, in my opinion, what you need to do, get an experienced striker to be the main man in attack, let him be the second option and develop, and he will become a very good player. Right now, we're hurting him a lot. In my opinion, we're hurting him. Okay, he's talented. He's got character as well, right? I can see in how he plays. He wants it here. He is desperate to come good at Man United. He cares about the club, all right? And that talent. I want to see that talent come good.
Look,
I want to see that talent come. So I would buy an experience. We should have done this when he came in. Should have done it when he came in. Buy somebody experienced. Take the mantle with the main man on the attack. Let him develop, and he will come good.
Bro,
I will die on the hill of him.
I can't lie to you, yeah?
All right, Firmz.
I can't lie to you. There's guys, yeah, I can accept even developing Delap. I can accept like taking someone like that where I can see certain characteristics and I say, you know what, you've got certain fundamentals in place. When I look at Rasmus Højlund, yeah, it's mad to me. It's mad to me. Like I told you, he's not about. His touch is wild, bouncy castle FC. Like he is one of those guys, yeah, that don't even know how to use his body.
But then
he don't know how to use his body.
That's common in young
I'm
strikers.
seeing young boy like Ahmad, yeah, you looking small guys half his size like Saka, know how to use their body.
But do you know what
I'm
that is?
seeing guys his size like Marteta,
Hold on, Yusuf,
knowing
let him just keep
how
going.
to size up a defender and use your body. The basics, fundamentals 101, yeah, for someone like Rasmus Højlund. You stand up your man, you hold up that ball, you protect it with your dear life, and then you lay it off. More time when Rasmus Højlund is falling to the ground, he's not even drawing in a foul. You know, one of them professional fouls.
He won 3 fouls last night.
More of the time, I'm saying, more of the time, Rasmus Højlund is falling to the ground.
He's gotten much more of those recently.
He's not drawing in fouls. Like, you're talking about the final, and yeah, you know what? I was sitting there going, oh, wow. Like, Rasmus, yeah, you're doing the things that, wait, any striker should be doing. Chido Obi Martins will be doing. Like, what are we talking about here? We're not Babysitter FC or Baby Nurturer FC. We're a team that should be. We're complaining about not winning a European final.
We have made the situation difficult for him.
I know we've made it, but my thing is, he's a big. I know it's not his fault, but I can just say, a mistake is a mistake. And right now, Rasmus Højlund is a mistake. He is a mistake coming to Manchester United, and he can go to any other Italian team and probably do good there. And then you're gonna
we'll regret it.
And no, I'm not gonna regret it. Just like I don't regret Anthony, and just like I ain't regretting Rashford, or just like I ain't regretting it. Look, there's some fans out there that don't understand that the Premier League might not be your environment.
But
some fans don't understand that there's
who
some
said
teams
that he can't succeed in the Premier League.
I'm not saying that he can't.
In my opinion,
but some people don't know how to
that's where
differentiate
he needs
anything.
development. In my opinion, that is where Rasmus Højlund needs development. Like, he's a talented guy, but we have made the situation bad. We have failed him. We failed him.
Look, we made the situation bad by deciding that Rasmus Højlund was the natural second choice when we couldn't get Harry Kane, which I think is so unfair on Rasmus. Right?
This is what I'm saying.
He is going to be a good striker, right? He's quick, strong, and he's got such a good strike on him. Like we saw it in the first season, right?
He's learning to use his body better. But you know, he needs coaching.
But
that's why you get somebody to be the 9 now.
So I would say if we're going to sign 2 strikers this summer, I wouldn't mind seeing Højlund go. Right? If we sign Delap and then we sign also, I'm just going to say Gyökeres for the ease, but that could easily be someone else. If we sign Delap, who's like 22, is like the same age as Delap and Højlund are the same age. Right? They're born 4 days apart. But I think that Delap is an upgrade on an upgrade on Højlund, right now because of the players like Delap's, just who Delap is. Right, not saying that means that Højlund's going to be not as good as Delap in the future, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if we only sign one, I think Højlund probably will stay, and I wouldn't be overly against it if it means he plays fewer games. But in my ideal world, I think I would be okay with Højlund leaving.
In my opinion,
as long as we sell him.
We need too much to sign 2 strikers, in my opinion.
Huh?
We need too much to justify signing 2 strikers. In my opinion, okay, if we sell Højlund, I'm rooting against whoever comes in immediately.
Oh, that's not fair.
No,
you can't do that.
Yusuf, that can't be fair.
I will be on this point. I will do it. I will do that. If he leaves, whoever is coming in, you're getting it.
Bro,
but why?
We've got too many. This is the thing is, Manchester United have got Xerxes, who's a development project. We've got Rasmus Højlund, that's a development project.
Xerxes, in my opinion, is best in the 10 in this team.
He's sick.
Which is
he's
part
a baller.
of why I don't want Cunha as well.
But the thing is, we're going to be using him as a forward as well. We've got Garnacho, a development player. And who's the?
But then that's
Ahmad,
why
who's
I'm
a bit
saying,
more
why not?
established
Let's say,
himself.
why not buy one guy who's that guy now, and then that takes pressure off the development players.
But okay,
Checkmate.
But one
Thank
guy
you.
needs to leave in order to do that.
No, I don't think they
Yusuf,
do.
do you not
personally.
think though that,
Delap's gonna be
that
a-
let's say
a development,
this situation, let's say we sell Højlund for, I don't know, what, 40, 50 million to Juventus or Napoli or something, and then we come in another striker who plays better, and then you just sit there and go no for the sake of it. Do you think that's just not fair on the guy who's come in? Højlund
not
wasn't
here for
given a fair
fairness.
shot.
He wasn't given a fair shot.
I'm not
yes,
here for sentiment.
you know,
but so why does that mean that whoever comes in therefore also shouldn't get a
I've
fair
seen
shot?
everyone not give him a fair shot, so I'm going to be like, no, look, you lot got what you wanted. I'm not going to give you lot a fair shot now.
But it's not on the new player who comes in. Let's say Delap comes in, right, and
That's
he
what
plays
people
well.
are going to have to deal with that.
So Delap has to suffer and be berated because Rasmus Højlund did.
Yes.
Why does Delap deserve that?
Yes.
But why?
Look, like I said, I'm a fan, okay? I don't want to
But
see
surely,
Højlund go.
therefore, you're a fan of the club.
Yeah,
But I don't want to see Højlund go. It's quite
I
frankly,
hear you.
think
Look,
No, I hear that. That's
Yeah.
absolutely fair enough. You not
Yeah.
want to see it is fair, but I don't think it is fair to then root for another player to fail.
Life's not fair.
You're ruthless.
All
Look,
right. So 127 votes for Højlund, more than any others, and it's 76% sell, 14% loan, 9%. 9% keep. I wouldn't mind seeing Højlund go on loan.
I will die on this hill. guys.
You know
I
what, to
will
be
die
fair,
on
I
this
could
hill.
do along.
Dwayne Melander has said get Wisser instead of Delap
I'd be happy with
as an
that.
option.
I think
I like
Mbomo's
Wisser,
a better player. But
Should we
I'd
just
like
get
Wisser.
Wisser and Mbomo, please?
Yeah.
Just bring that duo
Just
to
bring-
United.
Yeah.
We could do a, we sign Wisser and then Brentford get Højlund on loan for a season.
I wouldn't mind that.
There is still a part of me who looks at Højlund and goes, "There's something there," but I just can't look at him every single week when he's playing and justify
We ain't
him
got that
playing
time.
for.
We ain't
He
got
shouldn't
that
be
time.
starting for United.
Yeah.
But that's
He's
what
not
I'm
good enough to
saying.
start for United.
But
But
said
I
he
said that
ends,
when we
bro.
signed him. That whose club? Is that?
I know, but it is what it is.
But then
and
why
we can't
should
have
his career have to
representation.
suffer?
Also, by the
for
way, so this is
the
on the
club
side
He
thing.
shouldn't have to suffer. He's
wasn't.
suffering remaining
Rasmus
at Man
Højlund
U.
isn't and wasn't worth 72 million quid.
Yeah.
He was worth 35,
Yeah.
40 max.
It's not his fault. It's never going to be Rasmus Højlund's fault. My thing is he's suffering.
But everyone blames
he's
him
suffering
anyways.
at Manchester United. All of this thing about, we need to keep this guy and give them time. No, sometimes we need to let them free and enjoy life again. We let Anthony enjoy. Anthony's having a time. He's worshipped and adored at Betis. This guy's suffering. And he's going to work his socks off because
Yeah.
that's in his nature.
I'm gonna.
But it doesn't mean that we should keep
I'm
him.
going to say I think
needs to be
Ahmad.
let
So
free.
we've literally got one more player. Xerxes. I don't think there's worth talking about. He'll stay. Ahmad. The last one I want to talk about is Alejandro Garnacho. Keep or loan or sell. I would like to see him stay. I would really like to see him stay. But if we were to get a bid of upwards of 60 million. I can see him going,
I would, I'll be with
and
you
I
on
would
that.
be okay with that as long as it was reinvested properly.
I'd be with you on that.
That's
I'm
where
with Dylan.
all of my fundamentals come down to. How is the money being reinvested?
I like him. I
If
like
we talk
Garnacho
about-
personally. I know he's pissed people off with his comments last night, and
If you
I
strip
think
away the
Matt-
money,
I like
we
him.
need squad depth. Do you understand? If we strip away the money,
him and Cunha
need
both
squad
on the
depth.
left. I like.
if he's coming off, Garnacho's coming off the
Although
bench
the
every
poll
week,
is very much lining up saying that he should be sold.
what's the percentage?
Currently 77% sell. He's one of those for the right price players. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be an amazing winger. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah. I think he gives us attacking threat, an outlet, and everything. Like he's one of our most.
He's reliable. Not necessarily in terms of goal output.
Not goal output,
But in
no.
terms of he put him on the. For example, that's why everyone wanted him on yesterday.
Exactly, instead of
because we put, you put him on the pitch and you know exactly what he's going to do,
Yeah.
and he did it.
Yeah. And that's what we don't have. And as bad as Manchester United is, and I know people are saying Garnacho out, but if we take away the guys that we hate and like to criticise, i.e. Bruno and Garnacho, this team is stale milk. It is stale
Dwayne
milk.
Melander says, I like Ghana, but the attitude problems still.
Oh, forget that, man. Forget that.
I like a bit of arrogance.
Forget that.
I think Garnacho's borderline, but on the right side of the line of being arrogant.
Do you know who you're bringing in, Cunha?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You guys are in
You
for a
wait,
shock
you get
with
off with
Cunha. What, Yusuf, you and Garnacho, where do you
I'm
stand
with
on
you.
it?
I'm with you, pretty much.
60 mil?
Yeah.
It's just, I think he has less of a connection with the club as you would expect from an academy player, because he's less of an academy player than the others in the way that he came in from somewhere else. But it's just something about him I like. I like his swagger. He doesn't back it up sometimes, and it's frustrating. But yeah, overall. But okay, I think we've pretty much said that. I'd say about 45 to 50% of the squad we're all saying keep, and then the others are just, some of them get out completely, and a lot. So almost no loans. But loans is the academy players. Yeah. I'd say maybe, I don't know, a Cheeto loan or something. I don't know.
Rasmus, I'll put him on though.
Yeah. Rasmus, because I'd want to see him not at the club if we sign 2 strikers, is the thing. So if we loan, I still want to see sign 2 strikers, but then we have 2 strikers and Rasmus on loan. One of them's leaving in the summer afterwards anyway. But okay, so this has been definitely an extra long podcast. It's been going on for nearly an hour and a half now.
Oh my God.
But I want to say,
less?
True. I want to say thank you so much to all of you guys who have been watching. You've been sat, on over 350 viewers the entire time. You guys have been so involved with the super chats, with the comments, with the likes. We're up to just over 150 likes. It's been so great to have you guys. So remember, we will be here normally every Thursday at 12:30 in the United View studio. For anyone who's watching for the first time, see, I'm Dylan, we've got Firmz and Yusuf, and we'll have other players. We've got, other players. We've got people rotating on the stream every week, but I'm so happy that you guys are tuned in, even on such a depressing day as a United fan. But, ultimately, I think the only thing we can do is look forward to the summer, see what happens. Obviously, we've got the game against Villa. We don't know what's going to happen there. But, the summer, signing some players, getting the right ones in, getting the right ones out, and hopefully hit the ground running in August. First game of the season after a good pre-season with no World Cup distractions, no Euros, no injuries, touch wood. And then hopefully, we'll have much better next season domestically. Finish top 4 in the Prem and just be grand. Amorim all happy with his nice beard and everything. But apart from that, Yusuf, Firmz, thank you so much for coming on.
Can I get what you're drinking? Just pour some in.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hold on, let me find it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you guys for coming on. And we will see you next Thursday, 12:30, United View Studio on this channel. And peace.